Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Here's a little tune to help you remember. Same drive, different day. Don't you wish you were getting away? Pack your bags and come on through. Texas, Ohio, Alaska, we're up there too. Comfort Inn, it's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Well, I hope you like my little song. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, the White House referring to Democratic hate-filled rhetoric, left-wing cult of hatred, as they describe it. Hakeem Jeffries telling the White House, clean up your own house, taking no responsibility for the vile rhetoric. Meantime, the suspect in the attempted assassination is being charged with an attempted assassination against the President of the United States. 3 counts so far, but there will undoubtedly be a lot more, because he said that he would not have stopped at anything to get to those Trump officials in the room. He puts that in his own manifesto that he sent to his brother and sister. And that means that he was ready to open fire on anybody in there. So it could be an attempted assassination of thousands. There are already federal charges, but there could be, I believe, a whole bunch more coming. Meantime, Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, talked about just how calm and cool President Trump was. And I agree. I mean, think about it. This is his third, you could maybe even say fourth, attempted assassination against him. The one in North Carolina where the North Carolina guy who showed up at Mar-a-Lago with a gas can and a loaded gun. Remember, he rode past the security there, kind of snuck in at Mar-a-Lago. The president wasn't there. So there really is 4. Who knows what that guy was planning? And of course, we know about Butler. And of course, we know about Ryan Ruth there at the Trump International Golf Course in Florida. So there's sadly a lot of threats out there. And I know there are many of them that we don't hear about. I'm sure there are hundreds upon hundreds that we just don't hear about. And these ones make the headlines. Thank goodness, in this case, the guy is taken into custody. But here is Caroline Leavitt talking about seeing President Trump up close after another close call.
As you know, I was seated next to President Trump and the First Lady when the shots were fired before Secret Service swiftly moved us to safety backstage. The president's calm in the face of chaos, while yet another individual was trying to take his life, was really remarkable to witness, and it's something I will never forget. President Trump is fearless because he loves this country, and he is willing to put his own life on the line to deliver on the promises that he made to the American public who elected him here into the highest office in the land. And while we are blessed to have a fearless president, we should not live in a country where such constant fear of political violence permeates our society every single day.
I mean, he was absolutely calm. And in fact, after the shots rang out and then they figured out, okay, he's a lone wolf. That's what they believe. He's in custody. After they felt the threat was neutralized or diminished, not completely neutralized, even though he should have been neutralized, that's my feeling, but completely diminished. Well, then President Trump was still hanging around there at the Hilton, ready to go back on stage. The fight that we saw when he pumped his fists in Butler, Pennsylvania. That's President Trump. I mean, who else could handle that? Yet President Trump was like, no, we're going to get out there. We are not going to stop our way of life. We're not going to let these people stop us in any shape or form. We're going to get out there. We're going to have an event that's honoring the First Amendment with all these members of the media and all these members of the cabinet. And yet the Secret Service was like, I don't think that's a good idea, Mr. President. But he was all ready to go, just like in Butler, the famous scene with him pumping his fist right after he literally took a bullet that, shaved his ear. I mean, this guy is remarkable. Who else has that kind of resilience? I can't think of anybody on the face of this earth that has that kind of courage and that kind of wherewithal. And yet, if you listen to the ladies of The View, I couldn't believe this. Anna Navarro comes out and sort of suggests that this was staged, almost like, and I think she made similar comments right after Butler, too. There were some comments like, oh, I'm not really sure if he really was shot in the ear, as if it was like a make-believe, like it was a movie. What, like the bullet just happened to fly by? And you could even see it. My buddy Doug Mills, who is the photographer there for the New York Times, who covers the president, he's the guy who got that award-winning shot of the bullet like whipping by. But what, that I guess was all staged in her mind. Remember? They were making it sound like he didn't really have an attempted assassination at that point. And boy, we all saw what happened there. And then this one too. I mean, you could tell there was shock over everybody's face. It's clearly not staged. It's absolutely not staged. And yet Ana Navarro actually went there right after the shooting. Take a listen.
It's odd to me that in a place that is teeming with Secret Service, with Washington, D.C. police, with all sorts of law enforcement, this could happen. But also, I think people jump to that conclusion that it is staged because Trump lies. He lies constantly, daily, and pathologically. So people do not trust and do not believe anything Trump says. His lips are moving. The likelihood is he is lying. Also, this is a man who has mastered the art, forget the art of the deal. He has mastered the art of distraction. Anytime he finds himself in hot water, his numbers right now are down in the basement. His Iran war is incredibly unpopular. People are pissed as hell at the price of gas and the price of everything going up. And so people look at this and say, oh my God, is he trying to distract us again? Because that is what he does, right? He posts crazy things and he does crazy things and says crazy things to distract us from the Epstein files, to distract us from his horrible numbers, to distract us from the failures and incompetence of his administration.
What a shameful comment that he's trying to distract from dealing with Iran. So he's going to get some guy from California to drive across the country and stage an assassination attempt. I think it doesn't get more pathetic. Just look at Melania's face, which is on the cover of New York Post and many other papers across this country. You could see it in her face. Her jaw dropped. It was like, whoa, 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 what's going on? I mean, there is no doubt this was real, but they don't even want to give him credit for that his life is clearly under attack more than any other president. Here is also Rosie O'Donnell, because she went even further. Good old Rosie.
And it's so good when you don't want to watch the news about fake assassination attempts or what they're calling an assassination attempt. Somebody decided it shouldn't be a high security event with everyone in the cabinet there, and the president and the vice president and the first lady and, Congress people in the cabinet. Somebody decided that, they didn't need a lot of security. And who was that decided they didn't need a lot of security? I wonder who decided that and when and how they decided that with all those people there. It just gets more ridiculous every day. It really does. And, I think he's forgotten how many times they've attempted this. The things he remembers and the things he chooses to forget.
I'd like to forget what I just heard. I mean, that is so bottom feeding that she would actually believe that this is a hoax, that this is a setup. No remorse, no sadness. I would never want to see any sort of attempt to anybody, let alone a president of the United States. We should all be offended, no matter what political stripe you're on. This is our country and this is our president. And a threat to the president is a threat to democracy, and it should be treated as such. I'm just worried because I don't see it getting any better. I mean, you look at some of the comments that came out even over the weekend from Democrats. It was like, what problem? What am I saying that's wrong? From some of the worst defenders. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Joe in New Jersey on line 3. Go ahead, Joe. What are you thinking?
Hi, Rita. I'm thinking that it's strange that this guy got a hotel reservation in this place 2.5 weeks before the event. Don't you think that's strange?
Actually, hey, Joe, that is actually a very good point because that hotel fills up when there's been events. I know for a fact that hotel, like a lot of times when the White House Correspondents' Dinner gets announced, suddenly like people book it like within and it got announced. Usually it's announced like in January or whatever the date is. Sometimes they know even before that. And you're right. He booked it on April 6th. And the president said he was coming on March 2nd. So a lot of people probably booked it 2nd, 3rd, 4th, thinking, okay, I'm going to go when he goes. But it is a little odd that there was room for this guy.
It's a red flag to me.
So what are you thinking? What do you mean by that?
I just don't understand. You had 2,000 or 3,000 guests, plus all the hundreds of people from the press. The hotel would have been booked solid at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, for sure. As soon as they announced the date.
He managed to get a 3-day reservation 2.5 weeks before the event.
That is interesting. It's a big hotel. Remember, it's 1,100 rooms, but you're right. That is an interesting point because there have been other times where I can tell you, I know friends who tried to get in and could not get in other years. I didn't ask about this year, but I know other years, and I know it was very popular. It was packed. You could tell because President Trump was going. That's a good point. It should be looked into. What else are you thinking is perplexing?
Well, I have to say one thing. First of all, these women on The View are repulsive, and Rosie O'Donnell is repulsive also. They're disgraceful.
Yeah, it is disgraceful, and it's disgusting that there's no remorse, no sadness that the president of the United States, and that's why, Joe, I hate to say it, I'm always straight with you guys. I'm afraid it's going to get worse, if that's possible, before it gets better. I don't see it getting better in the short term. It's an election year. These people feel like it's driving people to the polls and getting out. They're triggering the loony left, the radical left. And I don't see a lot of common sense other than people like John Fetterman. But that's I can count it on one hand. I can count it on one finger. And that's it. Yeah. That's the sad thing. Joe, go ahead.
Every time Joy Behar opens her mouth, I want to projectile vomit.
Well, at least you're consistent. That's a good thing. Joe, thank you very much. Let's go to Dennis in the Bronx. Line 1. Go ahead, Dennis.
2 quick things, Rita. Imagine if there was 5 of these guys racing through that manometer. That would have been a disaster. But, Rita, every February, I take my car down to Florida. I go to Lawton, Virginia, get on the Amtrak train. We go to Stanford, Florida, and reverse coming home. Rita, you and John Catsimatidis have to talk to Congress or somebody to get magnetometers. Magnetometers. Or I didn't see one cop. I've been doing this for 10 years. Not one Amtrak cop visible. We have 400 people, 400 cars going on trains. Nothing is checked. And as a result, we go over bridges, we go through major cities. It's an 18-hour train ride. You don't see any dog sniffing. Anybody can walk in with any package on that train, and no one's checked. You and John Catsimatidis has to get this word out. You know, I take a plane to Florida, an hour, 3-hour flight, and I'm checked at TSA and examined. My shoes come off, everything. But here we take a train for 18 hours, and there's no checking. And this guy took a train from L.A. to Chicago to Washington, D.C. He was never checked with his baggage that contained guns.
Yep. And you know what, Dennis? It's clear that he probably did it, obviously, on purpose for the reason you just said, because he knew if he went on a plane, he couldn't get on the plane, that it would have been checked. Right. But you're right. He felt like totally comfortable. And that is a major, major problem. I agree with you. There needs to be some sort of magnetometer, some sort of screen. It makes you wonder how many other things have been transported, whether it's trains or buses or things like that. This was clearly planned out. And that also shows determination too, Dennis. The fact, I mean, that's a long ride. You know, it was like 2 days or a day and a half just to get to Chicago. And then he goes from Chicago to D.C. That's a lot of effort and a lot of planning, and all of that is going to work against him in the case, clearly on premeditation. That's 100%. But you are absolutely right, Dennis, that there needs to be better screening because you got a packed car. There are a lot of times on Amtrak, and I've been on Amtrak a lot, where, you can barely, it's like, there's like no seat. It is absolutely packed. And that is very, very dangerous, just like you said, for even the people on the train, too. It's a really frightening situation. And I think a lot of things are going to be reviewed after this, Dennis. And I think we're sadly entering some really tough terrain where we got to step up. I've said this before. I think there should be security guards at schools. I think there should be extra security guards on trains. I love it when I see a cop on the New York subway. I mean, it says to me, that's great. He's watching, he's looking, and he's probably averting, he or she, a lot of crimes just by being there. And just their presence would be a good thing. Dennis, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody, we're going to continue your calls after the break. 1-800-848-9222. And when we come back, I'm also going to tell you what Professor Dershowitz thinks may be an interesting defense for this guy, if there is one.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And one of our favorite listeners, I'm going to say his name, Norman Seabrook, who is with the Corrections Benevolent Association, who's listening, said, Rita, what about the canines? That's a great point. If they had some canine dogs, maybe some sniffers, they might have been able to sniff out weaponry, certainly any explosives, and they should certainly have canines roaming in the future. There is no doubt about that. 1-800-848-9222. Thanks, Norm. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Dom in Minnesota, line 2. Dom, your thoughts tonight?
Yeah, Rita, I wonder what the reaction would have been if Jimmy Kimmel had mocked Michelle Obama just the way he did Melania. I'll bet you the press would have put a target on his back without any hesitation.
Oh, yeah. I bet he would have been fired within minutes. Literally.
Yeah.
And what a sad testament that is, right, Dom?
Yeah. And actually, I've been thinking, here's why Trump is hated by both the Democrats and the press. The Democrats hate him because he gets things done. He gets the problem solved, unlike Democrats who wants to keep the problem festering so that they can win re-election.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. They want to keep it going, and they're going to at least till Election Day.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Rita Cosby is on.
And I keep hearing what you guys were saying. One of you mentioning, how did he get a reservation? That is interesting, because I do know people who in past years had a hard time getting into that hotel, even if they called in like February or March. So that is something that's definitely worth looking into. That is a little odd. And in the meantime, what kind of defense could this guy use? Here is Alan Dershowitz.
The only conceivable defense, and it's very interesting, it's like a law school hypothetical. I actually wrote an article on this when I was a student at Yale Law School, whether if you try to do something that's impossible, you can do it. And the leading case is somebody goes to a room and shoots his enemy in bed, puts a bullet in his head, but it turns out the guy had a heart attack an hour before that and was already dead. So can you attempt to do the impossible? And the answer is no. If it's impossible, you can't do it. That's a classic case. Yeah. And I litigated a case in New York where my client shot somebody who was already dead, and we won that case. So it had to take all the way to federal court. It's called People versus DeLugash, and that case appears in many case books. That was one of my first cases as a young lawyer, and I won it in the appellate division. Then we went up to the New York Supreme, and then we went to federal court, and ultimately he was acquitted.
That is an interesting argument. So was what he was attempting to do the impossible? Of course, Professor Dershowitz believes that kind of a defense is basically slim to none, but he thinks that's the only chance because he doesn't even think. He thinks the defense attorney will throw it out there. It obviously he thinks won't work because the guy was clearly trying to plan something. If that's the case, then nobody would ever get charged. And it's not like the people he was trying to kill were dead, so it's a different analogy. But his point is the insanity defense doesn't think it's going to fly because it was so premeditated, so planned. He books the hotel room. He was planning to stay for 3 nights. He drives across the country. All of these things clearly show premeditation. The one thing he also brought up was jury nullification. And this is where it gets really tricky. All right, if it was in New York, I hate to say it, some of these New York City juries, you look at the cases, some of the things that have been decided against President Trump and others, they clearly have a bias. That's to put it mildly. What about D.C.? Same thing. If you look at the voting there, predominantly, obviously, anti-Trump, 100%. Could there be somebody on the jury when this gets to a jury trial? And you assume it would. It doesn't look like he's going to plead. It's early, but who knows? If it gets to a jury trial, then what? What if there's somebody in that jury room who maybe has some sympathy for him? And I hate to say it, maybe it's like a Luigi Mangione case. And Luigi Mangione, the crazy guy who opened fire at the Hilton Hotel in New York and killed Brian Thompson, allegedly. You see it in the video, but that's what he's charged with. And in that case, there are all these fans who come out there and say, oh, Luigi, he's so cute. He's this, he's that. And he's even got a fan, it looks like, with this guy, Hassan Piker. We've talked about Hassan Piker before. This guy, he's hanging around Zoran Mandani. He's hanging around Abdul El Sayed, who is the Michigan candidate. He's hanging around Chris Murphy. Interesting company this guy is keeping. And Hassan Piker was just on a New York Times podcast last week. He's the social media guy. And he was trying to justify what happened with Luigi Mangione. Like maybe it makes sense what he did. So what if there's somebody with that mindset attached to this guy too? I mean, that's really scary. But listen, here's what Hassan Piker said just last week.
Engels wrote about the concept of social murder. And Brian Thompson, as the United Healthcare CEO, was engaging in a tremendous amount of social murder, the systematized forms of violence, the structural violence of poverty, the for-profit paywalled system of healthcare in this country. And the consequences of that are tremendous amounts of pain, tremendous amounts of violence, tremendous amounts of deaths. And that was a fascinating story for me because Americans are very draconian about crime and punishment. They're very black and white on this issue. And yet, because of the pervasive pain that the private healthcare system had created for the average American, I saw so many people immediately understand why this death had taken place.
Justifying why a murder of a father and CEO took place, it's reprehensible. But sadly, this guy has a big following. And maybe somebody like that might end up on a D.C. jury. Can you imagine? It's almost unthinkable right now. But it's not so far out of the realm when you sometimes look at the history of D.C. juries. And take a listen to what happened over the weekend. I couldn't believe this, guys. This guy's name is Vincent Hawkins. He's an ER nurse, and yes, an ER nurse, and an anti-ICE organizer. He actually took to the streets, and he was rallying in support of the would-be assassin Cole Allen outside the Portland ICE facility. And listen to what he said. He said he's going to try to raise some money in a GoFundMe account to help this guy. Listen to this.
So a school teacher in California is the one that took a shot at Donald there. We'll have that school teacher's legal GoFundMe account here soon. I'm sure it'll hit 10 million and we'll get Luigi's team on it. 31-year-old school teacher.
That's what my chap said.
I'm going to guess that he had students that were affected personally by the atrocities committed underneath that piece of shit. So much pain. And that there would be an anger build in this country to the level that people every couple months are using that fat orange bastard as target practice should not come to any surprise. When you treat other people as disposable, the world will see your fucking life as disposable. That is the natural consequence. And if you smell bird shit right now, that's them birdies coming home to roost.
Wow. There were a lot of four-letter words in that one. That is amazing. That guy saying the gist of it, we're going to raise a lot of money and we're going to put Luigi's team on it. That's frightening. And sadly, there are many more people like that out there. What drives somebody to do that right after an attempted assassination against the President of the United States? And that's why, sadly, tonight, I am so worried where we are headed, guys. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Stan in Forest Hills on line 3. Go ahead, Stan.
Well, if you didn't put that on, somebody would be listening to that. Why the hell did you put it on?
Well, because a lot of people are talking about it. It's disgusting,
we don't need
Stan.
to hear that crap. Okay?
All right, yeah, but we are listening to your crap, so go ahead.
No, don't give me that. Someone's listening to that, and then they get the ideas. So why do we have to hear that thing?
Stan, I think they have the ideas already. There's a light bulb,
well,
but go ahead.
On both sides. Now, here's the point, okay? Rosie O'Donnell and that other woman, they're idiots.
Anna Navarro from The View.
Well, they're idiots. Yep. That it was a phony. Of course it was a mess.
I mean, how crazy is that?
I know.
Crazy.
I agree. It's that. But let me tell you something. And you're not going to like what I have to say.
What a surprise.
This guy causes his own problems. He is I've never seen a president of the United States have the utmost hatred by many of the American people.
Oh, wait, Stan. No. I'm not going to let you get away with that.
Hang on. Yeah, a lot of people hate his guts.
Yeah, you know why? Because he likes to rattle the cages.
They don't like he's a liar.
Stan, hold on. Stan, hold on 1 second. You think he brought this upon himself? That's disgraceful, what you just said. To me, that's shocking. And guess what? This guy right now, you're Jewish, right? You're Jewish. He's trying to knock out Iran of a nuclear weapon. You have even said in the past that you think that that's a noble effort. But I guess that's not good enough for you. What, you want to go back to Biden and have him asleep at the switch? Is that what you want? Is that what you'd prefer?
Anybody go after him?
No, because he wouldn't have realized it anyway. He would have been asleep.
Let me tell you something.
He would have been too busy snoring. He would have been snooze.
I don't want him hurt.
Go ahead.
I don't want him hurt that way. I've told you. It's
and
terrible.
nobody should. But you just Stan. Stan, no. I'm not going to let you get away with that.
I don't want him hurt.
You just said he brings it on himself.
He does bring it on. You ever listen to this
shame
guy?
on you, Stan. Shame on you. Because
what
you're saying.
On me.
Yes,
listen
it is shame on you. No, it is shame on you because you just said he brought it upon himself. You just said that.
I don't want him hurt.
It doesn't. You just said he brought it upon himself.
You sound like that. I want him arrested.
Well, then maybe
and get on trial. That's the way I want it. But I don't want him. I don't want assassination.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but you know what, Stan? When you say he brings it upon himself.
He does. But you ever listen to this man?
Yeah, I do, and I also listen to people like Jamie Raskin, and I listen to. In fact, let's do a couple hits. Hold on a second, Stan. Let's do cut 17. Here's a couple of your friends. Here's a couple of people you idolize.
I challenge somebody to go and find a clip of a Democrat invoking violence.
Let's extinguish him for good.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
We're going to fight it in the courts, and we're going to fight it in the streets.
When they go low, we're going to bury them below the Capitol. That's what we're going to do.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
We're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
By taking behind the gym and beat the hell out of them.
Now punch back, kick back, dunk over their heads, and win some fucking power.
Fight back, punch back, and make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching.
We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
We are not only going to punch you back, but we are going to knock you out.
Like we're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
So, Stan, that's inciting.
What they said.
That's
many
inciting.
Of these people.
Stan,
I don't agree with a lot of it.
That's inciting. You can't tell me that
I
you
don't
don't.
agree
Hang
with
on,
what a lot of them said.
Stan. Let me ask you one quick question.
Go ahead. Sure,
don't you believe that kind of rhetoric is inciting loonies like this guy Cole Allen?
The loonies are out there. Listen, Rita. Do you listen to this man? I've never heard a president make statements and attack people as he does. And
I've never seen a president attack like him.
This country.
I've never seen a president attack like that, Stan, ever. I have never seen a disrespect to a president like he has experienced by the media. They soft pedaled it. And that's what I'm saying. So he feels his guard is up. He's never had such fire against him. Multiple impeachments. Do you know what they've said, Stan? The Democrats have said if they take the House, that they will impeach him on day one.
I hope they do.
Oh, come on, Stan. You know what? But that kind of rhetoric, people take it further. You are not, Stan. You're obviously not,
allowed to say
Stan,
that, Rita?
You are obviously not a violent person, but there are people. There are people that.
They're going to impeach him. What's new? Is that anything new?
No, it's not new, and that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing because they'll make up something.
As far as I'm
hang
concerned,
on, Stan. Let me ask you
all.
one quick question. Don't you think
please.
Alejandro Mayorkas should have been removed? They didn't even have the guts to remove him. That guy said, "Oh, the border is closed," and you'd see
what
like
does that have to do with the assassination attempt?
It has to do with impeachment because they impeached him, but then they couldn't remove him.
Trump, Rita, come on.
I'm talking about administrations because you seem to think that Trump walks the wrong way across the street. He should be impeached, and that's a problem, Stan.
Rita,
Yes, it is, Stan. Yes, it is.
Making it up. He has the history. I do not believe in any type of assassination. Reagan got it that tempted. It's terrible. It's the worst.
It's despicable.
Secret Service, for God's sake, you know what I mean?
You know what we need? We need Democrats to start being respectful to this president, and that includes you.
I don't know about that, Rita. I don't know about that. He does. You earn respect, Rita. You don't get it.
I don't think you. You know what? He could cure cancer, and you'd blame you'd say, "Oh, he's like hurting the pharmaceutical companies."
I would welcome that by him, and I'd applaud him because I've had cancer. But that's not the subject at hand. Let's get real.
Well, Stan, here you are logical. You are logical sometimes. All right. I liked where you said. I liked where you said you don't push for violence, and you don't.
No, absolutely
and
not.
You don't, and I know that. The problem is
I want to beat him in the election.
There are a lot of loony kazoonies out there that take it further.
On both sides, Rita.
Well,
on both sides.
I agree, and I don't like to hear it on either side. That, Stan, we will agree on. All right?
Okay,
thank you very much. Stan, go ahead. Go ahead. Final word.
Okay. Look, I want him to serve out his term. If the Democrats get control,
so you can impeach him. So you can impeach him.
Well, I've been pretty consistent. Yeah, I want him out, but legally. And look, he didn't want to. He tried to take over the election and stop it. That was illegal. Okay, so let's get real here. I want to serve his term. If the Democrats win control, it's a possibility on both the House and Senate. Let them take a legal motion to do it. If not, We'll stuck with him for another 2 years. But I do want him to take care of Iran. I've said that to you before.
And I want him to be safe. And guess
Absolutely.
what? Here's my prediction, Stan. Within 5 seconds, here's my prediction that Al Green will wave his cane and say, impeach, impeach, impeach. It doesn't matter what it is. He will do it. Stan, thank you very much. Interesting conversation. Always love hearing from you, my friend. And we'll continue with your calls after the break. 1-800-848-9222. But first, support our heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment. Whew! After Stan, you got to do something happy. Boy, I need something happy after that guy. Anyway, this is the great segment from the Tunnel to Towers Foundation from Lehighton, Pennsylvania, where at 100 years old, World War II veteran Chet France stood at attention as community members inside the American Legion post honored him for his years of service and as the last surviving member of the post-World War II veterans' Last Man's Club. He believes the true honor goes to the 4,000 soldiers who lost their lives fighting the same fight that he did. He was drafted into the Army in 1943. After training in Georgia, he was sent to France, where he helped to liberate several towns as part of the U.S. 100th Infantry Division in the Battle of the Bulge. And bravo to him and all of our great World War II veterans. By the way, many members who survived the Battle of the Bulge were taken into my father's prisoner of war camp. And my father remembers the emaciated guys coming in and being marched in. And my father saying, thank you for trying to save us. So bravo to this great hero and so many of the greatest generation. And everybody help America to never, ever forget. Donate $11 a month to the incredible Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They do so much good. Be sure to check them out. They are the best for heroes and our families that support them so well. Check them out at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Rita Cosby Show.
Well, if drugs were legal, I'd like to take some. After dealing with Stan, I'm telling you, that'll drive anybody to take something after that one. But that shows the mindset of some of these people. He's like, no, I don't wish him ill well, but I just want him impeached. I just want him behind bars. That's what we're dealing with, guys. Welcome to America. And most importantly, our president has to be safe. By the way, tomorrow he's going to, of course, continue his meeting with King Charles. And then King Charles is addressing Congress. That'll be interesting. And then there will be a state dinner. So we're going to have a lot of interesting stuff tomorrow night. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?